Welcome everybody to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mystic Raven. And since Homestead has came out, there is always going to be a lot of updates when it comes to changing out builds and redistributing champion points and deciding what your current configuration, if that's going to work or if you have to make adjustments. But on some occasions, guys, some things are just so good that you don't have to. I would like to introduce you guys today to one of my favorite builds that I've actually put together, and I don't get to use this character a lot, but it's my favorite build. This build I take a lot of pride in because it's one of the first builds that got me some recognition when I started YouTubing, and I'd like to introduce you guys to the Clever Nightblade build. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, didn't you take it from this? Didn't you take it from that? No, this build is completely unique in its entirety. There was a couple of different similar things going on with Nightblade tanks, and there was actually one YouTuber specifically, and I forget his name, but he did it way before me, Delta, and some of the other players did. And he was really good at Nightblade tanking. I really forget his name because, you know, I don't YouTube a lot, but I remember seeing it, you know, a long time ago. But this build here works out great. I'm going to go ahead and get into it here. All right. So first thing you're going to notice here. All right. Sorry about that. My max magicka is at 20,796. My max health is slightly at over 40,000, almost 41. And my max stamina is 20,156. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, that's not enough stamina. Well, guys, be patient. I will show you why that's enough stamina for this build. Okay, our spell damage is at 1,571. Our weapon damage is currently at 1,320. Our spell crit is at 35.1. I want you to keep that in mind as we're going through this. Over to the left, you're going to actually see how we've distributed the attribute points. So magicka, we have 0. Health, we have 44. Stamina, we're looking at 20 points. So ideally, I usually want to keep about a 70 to 30% ratio on a lot of my tank builds. It depends on how comfortable you are with resource management. I always tell people you can never have enough health, but the question of it is, can you maintain resources? That becomes a very, very good question when you're tanking. But if anybody ever tells you that's too much life, they're completely idiotic. Okay, and once again, I will show you why. When we go down, we're going to be using triple statted food. The reason being, it's going to increase our max health, our max magicka, and our max stamina. The boon we're actually going to be running is the stamina, the tower, because that's going to go ahead and boost up our stamina. Another thing you're going to see is I have major prophecy, and I'll explain why. Okay, now when we go ahead and look at the back bar, you're going to see I'm on dual wield. I don't have a sword and board. I have dual wield. As far as the attribute points go in this one, we're still slightly under 40,000 health, but we're still around that area. Max magicka is at 20,796, and stamina is still at 2156, and nothing has changed as far as our spell damage or our weapon damage is concerned. I think, you know, spell damage has gone up. I'm sorry. And the reason being, and once again, I'll go into that. So you're seeing the adjustments here. Now, the first thing that you're going to say when you take a look at this is, oh my God, Mystic, your resistance is fucking low. Once again, guys, I will cover all of this in this video and show you guys all the benefits of this tank build. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is the skills. Now I'm going to go ahead and bar swap. This is our main bar here, sword and board. We're going to be using Pierce Armor. The reason we're going to be using Pierce Armor today is, actually, let me go ahead and inventory first. We'll go through the gear before we go through the skills. We're running the Clever Alchemist along with Twilight's Embrace. This setup works so damn good for this build, it's ridiculous. Because as you guys can see, with my tail wagging, I'm an Argonian, right? What the Clever Alchemist does for me, guys, is when I drink a potion, I feel the rush and it increases my weapon and spell damage by 646 for 15 seconds. Now that's not a lot of DPS, but it's significant, because it's actually going to help DPS a little bit more than what most tanks can, even if they are a hybrid build. Now, when I take a look at the Twilight's Embrace, what this does is it's going to give me max health, it's going to give me spell crit, and it's also going to give me spell damage. When I switch over to the sword side, I'm going to have that 5-piece bonus, so it's a 5-5 switch. So you're going to see me getting increased the healing received by 10%. A lot of people used like Twilight's Embrace for a DPS set. To me, it never made sense because you're getting healing received and you're looking at health. A lot of vampires would roll with this set. Once again, though, it didn't really fit, what I ever was doing with the DPS. But for this build, it complements the Clever Alchemist perfectly. So as you guys can see, I'm running the sword. It's in defending, right? Also, you're going to see 2 swords of Twilight's Embrace, both with Nirnholm, and they're both glyphed. Excuse me, I have a head cold, by the way. I'm trying to get over this. For 348. Now, I can go ahead and put the crushers on here, so that's an option for you. And if you want to stay with sword and board on both sides, you can do that. So once again, keep in mind that it has its flexibility. I like both swords because I want to increase that DPS, and since I'm going to be using the piercing armor, I'm going to apply major fracture and major breach. So as far as the head, we're looking at the Clever Alchemist. It's infused. It's giving us max health. Also, you're going to see Clever Alchemist chest, max health, also infused. The shoulders are max health divine, and I know a lot of people want to go with sturdy, but once again, I'll explain why once again I'm going with divine, because I want to grab that extra stamina from my Mundus. So I'm going to go with more of a traditional setup, though you can go with sturdy if you want to, but with this specific build, I really don't need to. Now, also, you're going to be taking a look at waist. It's divine as well. The hands are divine. This is medium, and the belt is light. So I want to keep that Undaunted passive of 6%. I don't want that to drop. That's contributing to all my max stats. My legs are the Clever Alchemist heavy, and my feet is also Clever Alchemist boots, heavy, max magicka, and then divines. Now that's the 5-5 switch, but the next thing you're going to ask, well, if that's your 5-5 switch, what 3 jewelry sets are you going to be running with this build? Well, we're going to go with the willpower. The reason that we're going to go with the willpower, now you're going to see I have robust. This increases my max magicka, but it's going to give me max magicka, and it's going to increase my spell damage. Now this is the most max magicka you can get out of any jewelry set. So anytime a lot of people want to go ahead and still run like the 5-4 2 builds, that's why they go with the willpower, agility, or endurance. Now a lot of tanks you typically go with endurance, but once again, this is a hybrid build, so I want to go with the willpower. It's going to increase my max magicka and my spell damage, thus increasing my DPS. And once again, I'm not maximizing DPS, I'm just trying to improve the DPS with this build as needed. So once again, this is robust. This one is max magicka, and this one is max health. So I have one of each, guys. Now, that's the whole gear setup. Now let's go ahead and go into the skills. The first main bar we're going to be looking at is Pierce Armor. The reason being, it's going to apply the taunt, and it's going to apply a major fracture and major breach, reducing their physical resistance and spell resistance by 5,280 for 12 seconds. The big mitigating effect here is going to be Spiked Bone Shield. Now remember, a lot of times you can take the other Bone Shield that will increase your party's healing capability, but this is a hybrid DPS. We actually want to reflect the damage back at our target, so we're going to take the morph of Spiked Bone Shield. What that's going to go ahead and do for us, it's going to absorb damage equivalent to 34% of what? My max health, and return 40% of the damage back to the melee attackers. This is why you can never have too much health. Once again, it's going to depend on your ability to maintain resources, but if you can go ahead and slot more health, it works to your benefit with effects like this, because you're going to mitigate more damage. Now, once again, this also is going to provide a synergy that absorbs damage to 69% of my allies' max health. Okay? Refreshing Path. This is the big must for the Nightblade healer, or Nightblade healer, Nightblade tank. Because even though I usually use it on my healer, what this does is it's going to apply Shadow Barrier. So casting a shadow ability grants major resolve and major ward for 4 seconds, increasing my physical and spell resistance by an additional 5,280. This duration is increased by what? 25% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. So I'm going to get an increase for being, a tank. So once again, I'm going to use this to my benefit because it's going to give me the extra resistance, and on top of it, it's also going to heal me and my allies 819 health every second while we're on the path. Also, we're going to be using Sap Essence because this is a builder, plus it's an AoE heal, and it's also going to be buffing my party, giving them major brutality and major sorcery. Now, another benefit to having this on, because it's also going to increase the max health I have. No. Oh, that's the other ability in my other one. But it's going to increase my max magicka by 8% with a siphoning ability slotted. So this is another reason I'm getting that boost to my max magicka, is because of the Sap Essence. Now, also on this bar, we're going to see Inner Light. Now, a lot of people are just going to question it. Why in the fuck are you rolling with Inner Light? The main reason, now, once again, this has to scale up. I adjust this accordingly. But once you get it up to 4, it's going to increase your max magicka by an additional 5%. And it's going to increase our spell critical rating by 2,191. This is a big deal because when I actually hit a potion and I'm starting to DPS, my crit rating is going to go up. It's never going to be as high as a DPS, but once again, my primary role is tank. I'm just trying to increase the damage as when I'm between my potions. Also, you're going to see a Warhorn. Now, speaking of potions, and I really didn't get into this, and I should be going in this. If you guys take a look at my enchantments on my jewelry, they all have the Alchemy Acceleration enchantment. This is important for any Argonian Nightblade tank. Why? Because it's going to reduce the cooldown timer by 5 seconds for each. You have a 45-second wait time between your potion. By doing this, you're dropping it from 45 to 30 seconds. Might not seem a lot, but when you have that 15 seconds, you only have a 15-second downtime between your potions. So once again, you want to go ahead, and if you're going to run this build, you want to get this on there, that Alchemy Acceleration enchantment. It's a must-have if you're a Nightblade tank, and especially Argonian. Okay, now also, we're going to take a look at the back bar here. And we're going to have Inner Rage as our primary taunt for range effects. Now, I still will be hitting a lot with the Pierce Armor because I want to apply that Major Fracture, Major Breach. Anytime I'm needing a ranged taunt, though, and I want to, offer my team a viable way of hitting a synergy, I'm going to be using this. Because it's going to still apply the Major Breach, but it's a ranged version of the taunt. I just want that ranged ability and give them an opportunity with the synergy. Okay, well, also we're going to have Mirage. Mirage here is going to give us Major Invasion, Minor Resolve, and Minor Ward, increasing dodge chance by 15%, and increase our physical resistance and spell resistance. This is going to stack with Refreshing Path. So when I pop this and I hit the Refreshing Path, I'm going to cover a lot more resistance, and I will be showing you that. Okay, now this is a big one also for any Nightblade tank, is the siphoning attacks. The reason being, we're going to be doing a lot of weaving in between. That's going to increase our stamina, but we also need to recover magicka. That's what siphoning attacks gives us. So for every time I do a light or a heavy attack, it's going to restore 1,090 magicka and stamina for 15 seconds. Any other effect or other ability has a 10% chance to restore an additional 2,181 magicka and stamina. Now, this is our spammable, is Swallow Soul when we're starting to DPS. The reason being, it's going to steal the life force, dealing 5,204 damage, and it's going to heal me 31% of the damage inflicted every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. But this is where it's really important for the Nightblade tank, especially on the dual bar, because while it's slotted, I'm gaining minor vitality. It's increasing my healing received by an additional 8%. So it's a must-have for the Nightblade tank, especially if you're going to try to DPS and you're going to go on the sword side. You're going to be a little weaker. You're going to have a little less resistance because you don't have that board, and this is what's covering your ass. Okay, so once again, I have Inner Light on both bars, and this one is the biggest one besides the Warhorn, is the Bolstering Darkness. The Bolstering Darkness conjures a ring of shadows around me, reducing any of my enemies' movement by 70% and gaining me and my allies major protection, reducing our damage by 30%. Now, also, if you look, low health allies in the target area can activate Hidden Refresh, granting invisibility and also increasing their movements speed by 50%, and also healing them for 21,636 over 4 seconds. So when you need to say, oh shit, on a lot of big mechanics, Bolstering Darkness is definitely the way to go. And keep in mind, it is a shadow ultimate, and it's also going to help reapply the shadow barrier. All right, so that's pretty much about it. Now, I definitely want to kind of go into a lot of major things here. Now, when you take a look at Mirage, the reason I have it on the back bar is simple. When we take a look down here, okay, it'll increase my critical damage by 10%. For having it slotted. That's why I want Mirage on this. I'm not going to use any other assassin abilities, but Mirage is a mitigating effect, and it's also increasing the critical damage on this bar, because keep in mind, we're going to be spamming Swallow Souls when we can. That's going to increase the damage amount when we're doing the crits. And of course, there's a lot of people throwing mud balls today. It's all good. And now, another thing I wanted you guys to take a look at too, trying to remember everything. Okay. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. Okay. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to throw the refreshing path. And I'm going to throw this. Now when I take a look, that's my resistance up to 22,364, 22,300. Now you'll see the drop. Okay. Same thing on the board side. Now when I'm on board side, my resistance is up almost 28,500, 28,390. So that's giving me enough resistance, and keep in mind, with all the self-heals that I'm doing, I'm going to be mitigating that difference considerably. So this is pretty much my badass build, guys. I can do so much with this tank. This tank, by far, is one of my favorite builds. I have all champion points. Let's get into that. Sorry, almost forgot real quick. This is a crazy setup with the champion system, and I'll get into it. We put 27 points into Bless. The reason being, it's going to increase our healing done by 10%. We're going to be healing ourselves with the Refreshing Path and the Swallow Soul. This is very important because we want to capitalize on that as much as possible, so we're definitely going to put a couple points into Bless. Elemental Experts at 21%, because keep in mind, Swallow Soul is going to deal magic damage, and a lot of my abilities are magic based, so I want to increase the damage potential. Spell Erosion, because even though I'm going to be hitting with Major Fracture, Major Breach, I need some sort of increased penetration, so we're going to pump up Spell Erosion to 3,112. When we take a look over here, not a lot of points allocated, but we have Shattering Blows. This increases our damage against targets with a damage shield by 5%, and Melee Weapon Experts at 10.5 because we're using swords. Over here, we have nothing into the ritual. Now, this is a very much important reason. Another thing I want you guys to pay attention to, I'm an Argonian Nightblade tank. So I want this Foresight. Reduces the magic cost of my next spell by 80% after I drink a potion. Okay, this whole build is set up around potion drinking. It is very, very crucial, right? And I will show you also the passive for the Argonian. Now, also, you're going to see Ironclad at 6.2. Another one we have is Hardy at 30, that's 10.8. And Elemental Defender at 10.8. Now, a lot of people are being like, that's a little low. Well, the reason being, we're set up more over at the Lord with 126 points. The major reason is we want the determination. We're going to absorb 1,474 damage for 15 seconds after drinking a potion. We're popping a shitload of potions. This might not seem like a lot, but over 15 seconds, it's still going to mitigate. We're stacking all the mitigating effects. Because we're using two different shield types, we're going to put Bastion up to 14.5, and especially since we're running out the dual wield, we want to increase our quick recovery up to 14%. Even though I don't have a lot of resistance, I'm self-healing and I'm getting heals constantly. There's usually nothing that's taking me down. I can pretty much be the last man standing in any occasion with this build. Warlord. Warlord is set at 4.7 along with the Magician at 6.4. I want to kind of split the difference between the two because I'm using stamina and magicka based abilities, so I want to reduce the cost of each as much as possible. Sorry guys. Okay, Arcanist. Arcanist is going to be at 17.5. Remember, we are mainly using a lot of Magicka abilities for a lot of different effects. So we're going to be going through a lot more Magicka than Stamina. So we want to slightly set this up a little bit higher. But Mooncalf is still a major priority. Now remember, we are using Siphoning Attacks. That's going to help us recoup, but we still want to set this up to about 16%. Healthy is at a moderate 4. It's just giving us a little bit extra health recovery. And Tenacity, because we do a lot of waves, is moderate 4.5. Now over here, this is a big one, is Shadow Ward. We want to reduce the cost of our blocking. We're going to be blocking periodically, and especially during a lot of mechanics, so we want to reduce that cost as much as possible. And of course, Tumbling's at a moderate 4% because there's occasions that we will have to roll out of a mechanic. Okay, so that's how this is set up. And like I said, guys, you really want to pay attention here because we're going to be doing a lot of potion drinking. It's just, you're going to go through a shitload of potions with this build, but it's always going to be worth it because when I go ahead and I drink a potion, okay, I'm going to activate the potion on this side. I'm going to then swap. Okay, there it is. So we're sitting at 2830 without any other proc effect. So if I hit with the swords, I hit with the Clever Alchemist, all of a sudden I'm pushing up to about 4,000 spell damage. That is no joke for a tank. It's about 4,000 spell damage for a tank that I'm able to maximize. It's ridiculous, guys. That's why everybody's like, well, how are you a hybrid? Well, because I can get up to about 4K spell damage. Now, a lot of people like to try to use the Clever Alchemist for DPS. It doesn't really is as beneficial. Even if you use the jewelry to reduce the timer, you have a very long durated effect between the Clever Alchemist. The Clever Alchemist is going to give us 15 seconds. Think about this. The potion has 45 seconds, 15 seconds. You have a 30-second downtime in between your potion drinking. For a DPS, this makes no fucking sense whatsoever to use this set. But what this really does for us, it's giving us double max health, and being Argonian, I'm going to be able to capitalize because I'm going to reduce the damage, and I'm also going to get another ability in the passive for the Argonian, which is Argonian Resistance. Increase your max health, 9%. No, sorry about that. Right here. Whenever I drink a potion in Resourceful, my all my stats increase. My regen increased by 12%. Okay, so let's take a look at my regen for a second here, guys. My regen's only 699, 426, and 693. Okay, as soon as I drink a potion and we go back in, now I'm getting the bump to max magic recovery and stamina and health. It's not much on the health and the stamina, but you're going to see the significance in the magic recovery almost by 200 points. Plus, we're getting that extra boost for using the potions towards our pull. So once again, guys, it's all about potion drinking in this build.
The Cradle of Shadow. That Larry.
I won't be doing that as a vet.
You look fungal. Their leader.
Okay. Probably 2.
Crypt of Heart.
I don't know which Crypt of Hearts this is. Alright. Crypt of Hearts 2. Fungal Grotto 2 and Crypt of Hearts 2. Alright, let's see what we can get ourselves into here, guys. Alright. Now, if it's going to go to voice, I will drop out of it. Fungal Grotto 2 can be hard on the second boss, but it is what it is. Okay. Going to do the ready check. Once again, I can't see your comments. I'm so sorry about that. I had to block it, guys. I had a lot of stalkers that were just saying like the most obscene things, like when I was doing live streams. So it just sucks. I really wish it wasn't like that, but unfortunately it just has to be, you know. But we'll see how this goes. This is what, once again, this is, okay. Okay, I don't need to be in there. So we take off the group chat. I'm going to reapply my food. And once again, I'm using the long fin pastry. I want to keep on the magica pots as much as possible. That should be enough for me to get through this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Draw in as much aggro as possible. Hit him with those mitigating effects. Okay. Now I'm going to put the siphoning strikes on. Recoup. Hitting the wrong button here. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna drop the potion. Get that back up. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna pull the boss. I'm gonna aggro. I'm gonna bump this bitch. I'm gonna pop the war horn. Okay. Now once you see that, now I'm going to start my spam. Back here. Now if you guys notice, I'm not using as much stamina. So the main thing I want to do is just keep refreshing that magicka as much as possible, guys. Okay. Alright, DPS seems a little weak. I don't know what we got here. One under 300. Someone put 4 something. Whatever. Once again, I'm going to try to draw up as much as I can. Pump this bitch. Put down those mitigating effects. Use up some of my ranged taunts. I'm gonna hit the potion. Use my siphoning. Alright. This is where it could terribly go wrong, guys. Once again, keep in mind this is Pug Life. I'll do my part. Now, on a big pull like this is what I recommend. You drop the bolster. Alright? Sometimes it's really hard on those healers. So you really want to go ahead and use that to your advantage as much as possible. As you guys can see, the healer bit it. Okay. Gonna drink my potion, hit the overdrive here. Ah, wrong button. Nah, wrong one. I got to run me over anyways. This healer's not that good. Oh, wrong button again. We'll see how well they do here. Alright. Get the range taunt on. Make sure we put those mitigating effects down. Now I'm going to pop the war horn right from the get. Okay. There, he got tethered. They don't even see it. One's gonna die. Oh no. And they got it. Sweet. Ah, I hate that. Get up and she knocks me down as soon as I get up. That's not right. Okay, guys. Now on this occasion, she's gonna stay aggro to you. So you just want to go ahead, try to help out as much as possible here. There we go. Pick up these ads. Go and drink the potion. Get our recover on. I was about to say, somebody should be resin somebody. That person's gonna die. It's okay. Mystic's here. They can hold on for a second. And luckily I got it. I might croak in the process. We'll see. Can they get me up is the question. Tethered. Oh, it's going horribly wrong. Another one bites the dust. Oh, it's going to be a wipe. It's going to be a wipe. And we have our first drop with the healer. Yeah, some people just can't get this one down, man. They just can't. You know, you will see even like vet players like biff it on this one. Like seriously biff it. The healer sucked, to be honest with you. He was crap healer anyways. Now, see, this is definitely one of the hardest original vets. just because of a lot of mechanics. A lot of DPS won't even pay attention to what's going on with mechanics. They just think, tank and spank. Unfortunately, ZOS is a little bit more clever than that most of the time. Now, some mechanics you can DPS through relatively easy and just avoid the bigger hit of mechanics. Unfortunately, there are a lot of mechanics out there that you just cannot avoid. So I'm always telling people, don't try to over DPS the mechanics because that can be a very much a bad thing here. So we'll see how this all goes. Come on. You can do it. Let's see what we got here while we're waiting. All right. 339. I mean, that's not bad. Whatever. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with all these guys here. As far as CP or anything. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, you shouldn't base everything on CP. Well, yes and no. Skills is one thing for sure, but definitely we want to go ahead and try to reduce that as much as possible because putting low end players into a lot of ads, because if you just hit like CP 60 or 80 for example, you don't have those CP points. That extra 20% does make a difference when it comes to vets like ICP. Now a vet like this, I wouldn't necessarily say so, because you can get through a lot of the mechanics just being familiar with the fight itself. Okay, so everybody's here. Somebody's in his bag. I'll let him do his thing.
By the ebony blade, I will end you!
Okay. Now, if you guys notice, I'm going to try to get that major breach on whoever they're trying to target down. Even if I can't DPS much because the boss is on me. Oh, yeah. Hitting synergy is very important. It's going to give you a little bit more boost towards your stats on the recovery. Oh, and I got him. 2 DPS croaked. It's going to keep him off of him. Res, dude. Yep. Just keep going. Keep resin. Keep resin. Let me die. Hopefully he got him up. Yes, he did. No. You're... Yeah. Don't... Okay, as soon as he gets me up. Hard on a tank to help the DPS. I'm just going to keep them off, let them res, do their thing. Good job, guys. It's using your noodle. Gonna hit the war horn now. Boy, even the shadows will knock you down. Always during my rotation too. It sucks. Get back here. Okay, it's me. That's perfect. I actually don't mind this. Anytime I'm down, it works out a lot better when, you know, I'm chained. Anytime you get the healer or DPS chain, it can be a problem. Alright, tethered. I'm going to be moving away. Get it down, get it down. Somebody's gonna die. For sure. Just gonna keep it back here. Pull from the titter. Potion. There we go. Well, it could be a little bit of a pain, but we got through it. Okay, I don't know why that happened. We're already in the group. Whatever. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna hit this potion. Okay, I'm gonna save that for the DPS here. Okay, we're going to take the shortcut. We don't need that boss. Oh. Come over here. This is the easiest way up. Ooh, and there's a chest. When I'm hit that potion, I want to AoE here, guys. And it's going to heal too. Just think about this. I have my sap essence and my refreshing path on the same bar. It's going to both do AoE damage and heals. Alright. Let's open this bad baby. Ooh, intermediate. There's a chance for something. Sharpened Vipers wouldn't be bad. Alright. Junk. Okay. At least we did it. Now, I'm really hoping that one of the DPS know that they're supposed to go to the cave. If I get drawn into the cave or the healer gets drawn into the cave, this could be the worst case scenario. So I really I'm hoping that one of the DPS know this. Of course, our healer is already dead. Get back here. Now, as far as that laser's concerned, I'm not too much concerned with it. As you guys can see, I can take a significant amount of damage, and I don't, wrong button, and I don't have a lot of resistance. This build is pretty self-sufficient at this. Okay, I'm gonna recoup. Okay, I'm gonna lay down the bolster now. Still gonna knock me back. That's okay. And I haven't changed this build since the conception of it. The only thing I did was put on the inner light just to get the crit up rating up a little bit more, so I could, take advantage of when I was DPSing between my rotation. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hit this pot, get it up, hit my. Gonna lay down my bolster again, and as you guys can see, I'm not taking much damage for nothing. Hopefully get that healer up. Now with this build, like I said, most of my time is just, I can't worry about what's going on with DPS or a healer. I have to focus on the boss, maintaining what I need to do to make their job a lot easier. If they go ahead and die or they skip a mechanic like me talking and losing aggro, then that's not my fault, that's their fault. If I lose aggro or lose concentration of my rotation, that's going to become a considerable problem, because that's when things can go really bad. Now, as you guys can see here, I don't have, even if the healer dies or anything, I'm able to maintain. I'm healing myself. A lot of people are just like, oh, that's too much life, Mystic. No, guys, it's not. It all depends on your build and how you're managing resources. The best thing about this build, you could take this into a vet trial and still do a kick-ass job. Vet Hell Raw with this works out great, especially if you're able to, well, that's not a good example here, keep your siphonings down. So if you keep your siphoning strikes and you just go ahead between your blocks and hit once or twice, it works out really good here, guys. Hit the potion and just, once this is up, hit between block. Hit. I'm not paying attention. Okay, let's get my resistance back up. Don't know what happened there. The healer's in the cave. Oh, snap. I was not aware of that. Once again, these aren't my issues here, guys. This is going to be a wipe. If you're a DPS, let's say you're doing this dungeon, you'd rather be in the cave than the tank or the healer every day of the week. Smart call. It's not gonna work. DPS, if you're trying to DPS and you don't want to go to the cave, you can fuck up this entire run by not knowing what you are supposed to do. It's just that simple, man. The healer made it out. Oh, snap, and he's alive. It's bad. This is bad. And a war horn for the death. DPS. What can I say? Shame, shame, shame. I said it. You don't want a healer and you don't want a DPS in that cave. You do not, guys. You don't want the tank or the healer in there. Because if you don't have the tank maintaining the aggro, she will chase you around until, oh my god, how did it start off like this? Okay, so going to keep this spike bone shield up. Let's increase our DPS a little bit more. Yeah, this is all bad. Okay. Nothing I can do about DPS not knowing what the hell they're doing, guys. It is pug life, for fucking sure. Just goes to show, man, you can get vets in here that don't know a flipping thing. What a bunch of... Let me do... Uh-oh.
Your claws will feed my children.
No, I'm not getting in voice chat. What the hell? And of course DPS isn't doing their job picking anybody up. Ugh. Why? Seriously, like, do you need me to tell you what to do? Should I tell you to wipe your ass when you take a shit? I don't know. I just don't know, guys. Okay. Get your asses in here.
Your claws will feed my children.
Okay, I'm gonna hit this potion. I really wish I could see your comments right now. It's either good or bad, but unfortunately I blocked you. It's not because I wanted to. If people could be mature, even if they wanted to debate and be mature about it, I would have the voice back on. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen because there are a couple of people who are constantly harassing the shit out of me. Now, if that healer gets in there, which I wasn't paying attention to last time, I want to try to stay out of both mechanics, because that would get you killed. But maintaining one mechanic, even with... yeah, it's fine. Once again, I wish I could see. I hate to say you're typing for nothing, but you are actually. All right. Solid rotation is down. Bolster. What? Takes 1 DPS to screw up a whole thing. I swear to God, guys. Gonna try to round these guys up. See if I can get them all up and do a lot of AoEing. Gonna try to loss. Awesome. Hit it. Same thing. Yeah, they're dead. Told you guys. Just proof, guys. It's proof. Some people don't know what to do. Once again, I can't see your statements. I can imagine, you know, I'm smelling somebody. It smells like Big Ron. Could be. Okay. I don't want her to reset here. Jeez, my Jesus, DPS. Wow. I don't know what, devs, I don't know what's going on with the rechecks. I don't know. I wish I could see your comments, honestly. I can't disable it because I can't take the chance. Somebody was saying racist things one day, and I was just like, you know, that's enough for me, guys. I honestly, I can deal with criticism. I can deal with some sorts of harassment, but, you know, if somebody's going to be stupid enough to say racist comments and that, I'm not going to tolerate that type of behavior. Alright, there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna pull him up here. Okay, the big thing is to mitigate as much damage as possible, especially with the healer here. The healer's going to get drained of Magicka. I want to use the Bolstering Darkness to my advantage. Okay, right there. Keep the block up. Put the Refreshing Pat down. Keep the mitigations up. Okay, once I do this, I'm going to hit this, throw down the mitigate. As fast as you can regen it, he can take it from you, so... See? Block. Okay. I am not letting these guys run this shit. That is not gonna happen. One or two of them are gonna bite it on the way down. I can guarantee it. Oh, they might make it. See if I can keep the aggro off of them. Go, guys, go, go. Come on. You can do it. We'll get through it. We will triumph together. It's not, see, I'm not selfish. It's not an I situation. When's the last time you've ever seen me just rage quit on one of my streams? It'll never happen. I will persevere. We will get through it, guys. Somehow, some way.
What's happening? I can't see.
So you're the ones killing my precious foe. The stone belongs to my mistress Navala. Return it and your death will be swift.
Okay, pretty much this is the easiest job for me. Only thing I gotta do is just keep everybody stacked. Somehow, some way. Keep the breach on her and keep the hell... Stay out of that husk. Synergize with this. Shadow right behind us. I'm going to save that for the DPS, guys. Don't ever say I'm a not nice guy, guys. I know I can be a dick, but seriously. I'm gonna take this one though. See if I can synergize. Yep. Excuse me. Okay. Spam her down. There it is, guys. Wow. Let's see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's pretty badass. There we go. That is pretty badass. And well fitted. Whatever. And I got a bust of Spawn of Mephilia. That's actually pretty cool, too. Alright guys, if you have any questions, comments, especially comments, especially if you were posting and I didn't get to see it, feel free to leave comments. But as you guys can see how this build actually works out, and especially for a team. We can mitigate damage, we don't need as much resistance, it's very flexible. We're going to push out a little bit more DPS than what we typically would, especially we're going to keep those pot rotations going as much as possible. We're going to use those enchantments on the rings to reduce the timer, because once again we want to take advantage of our resources and being able to utilize that with the passive for the Argonian as much as possible. I can't really predict what I'm going to get when I'm rolling in these pugs, guys. So some people are going to know mechanics better than others, some won't. My main job is to do the functionality of the role I'm playing. So you know, if you guys want to be critical, you can. Hey man, you know, everybody needs criticism, and you know, I'm open definitely to taking some criticism, but I think this still shows the viability of the build, because I'm still able to function and do all the things that I need to do regardless of the team I'm rolling with. And that's what I'm always trying to push, guys, is showing what we can do with what we got. I do thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments, once again, just post below. And once again and always, have a nice day.